just came up to the scene. Shooting that cigarette, and I do believe Gabby just looks evidence legit.
All of Arizona is shocked and deeply saddened by the horrific tragedy that transpired.
It's a tragedy for Arizona and a tragedy for our entire country. He must have shot 15 to 20 rounds very rapidly, and I think he had no care whatsoever about who he was shooting. He was just shooting and shooting. The whole thing transpired each 10 seconds. It was very sad. The news of a 9-year-old girl being killed.
She was an amazing little girl, and she got robbed.
We grieve for Judge John Roll and for all those who have died. We pray for Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords and for all who were injured and for those who love and care for them.
I'm happy to say that she's holding her own. Her status is the same as it was yesterday. As long as we don't backslide and as long as she holds her own, that's good. That keeps us hopeful.
And tonight, there are brand new developments breaking in the Tucson tragedy. The alleged shooter's family finally releases their first public statement. But first, according to the Associated Press, authorities have found handwritten notes in a safe at 22-year-old Jared Lee Lochner's home on which messages were written, including, quote, "Die," and then the B word, "I planned ahead," my assassination, and the name Giffords. Now, for more on all of this, plus new information about the hours leading up to Saturday's shooting, we go to Anita Vogel, who joins us live tonight from the scene of the crime outside of the Tucson Safeway supermarket. Anita.
Well, hi there, Sean. We are at the scene of the shooting. It's pretty quiet here, but as you can probably see behind me, the Sheriff's Department is here. There are also investigators from the FBI here, and they are combing the ground for more evidence. And there is a lot of brand new information tonight, including what the Associated Press says took place the morning of the shooting. They say Jared Lochner's father saw him putting a big black bag into the trunk of a car, and that when the father approached, they mumbled some words, and then the son took off running into the desert, chased by his father. Also, as you mentioned, there was apparently a note found in the Lochner home saying the words "die," B-I-T-C-H, possibly referring to Giffords. Now, all of that information is coming from the sheriff himself, Sheriff Dupnick, to the Associated Press. We are still working on confirming that information for ourselves. Also, in the meantime, a lot of people here from Tucson showing up to the shooting scene today to pay their respects, and one woman reminded everyone that the Lochner family are victims too.
We need to remember Jared's family too, and I'm sure they're suffering too, and remember each individual. It's not just Gabrielle that was affected, although she's the prime figure. Everyone has been affected by this, and just keep the love going, keep the peace, and let something good come out of this.
Tonight, the suspect, Jared Lochner's parents, are speaking out, putting out a statement. It reads in part, "We don't understand why this happened. It may not make any difference, but we wish that we could change the heinous events of Saturday. We care very deeply about the victims and their families. We are so very sorry for their loss. Thank you, the Lochner family." Now, the suspect remains in custody. Meanwhile, the Sheriff's Department says it is reviewing old reports to see if they had any prior contact with Jared Lochner. They believe those reports exist, although they say they know of no expressed threats by the suspect. Now, tonight, there is a prayer service, an interfaith prayer service taking place here in Tucson. It is drawing people from all over the country. We talked to one woman from as far away as Texas.
We are just here in prayer and in solidarity with the families and the community that's been affected by these tragic events. And so there is prayers lifted up. And it's one of solidarity, and that we want to express that solidarity to the community here at Tucson.
And Sean, the Sheriff's Department says the gunman certainly could have killed many more people, but in a stroke of luck, the spring on the clip of the second round of ammunition he was trying to load failed, and that gave people around him a few crucial seconds to tackle him, but that otherwise he certainly could have shot many more people. Sean.
Yeah, and Anita, we had that elderly woman who literally took that clip out of his hand as others were holding him down, and we're going to talk to one of those people in just a minute here. Two other issues quick, Anita. Do we have an update on the Congresswoman? And number two, there seems to be a backlash emerging in Tucson against the sheriff for his opinion, his comments, and his blame that he's been putting out there. Can you update us on that?
Sure. First, to the health of the Congresswoman, some encouraging news this morning from the doctors that she's holding her own and actually breathing on her own. So that's encouraging. There are 5 other people in the hospital, 3 patients in serious condition, 2 in fair condition. As for the sheriff, yes, he has made some very controversial statements, inciting some political rhetoric. Some people agree with him. They say he's right, that the political rhetoric has become too heated and it should be toned down. And others say, you know what? This guy was acting on his own. He was obviously mentally unstable. He was a registered independent. Had nothing to do with the political climate. And we're going to hear a lot more about that, Sean, in the coming days.
All right, and thanks, Anita, joining us tonight. And as we learn more